Another rainy weekend, but fortunately this week there's plenty of stuff to do inside in the garage. So we're going to focus on making up all of the panels that we need to fix this lower area here. So it's going to be, needs 4 in total. So 1 to fix this inner part, 1 to fix the outer sill, 1 to cover this, and 1 to cover here. So only fabrication this week. I didn't have time to make all 4 panels, so there's still the one for here left, and no welding. It's a little bit too wet to drag the welder outside and start doing anything, so none of that. But there are some new tools. There's a bit of success in terms of what I managed to make, and I think I did a pretty decent job for me. I think I'm a natural born fabricator slash coach builder, I would even argue at this point. So enjoy. The best part of any new project, new tools. So perhaps this will help me with some of the sheet metal forming that I need to do. I realised there was quite a lot to do, and maybe slightly more than my current tools could accomplish. You know, parts like this. So I've got a panel beating set, thinking that I can hammer some metal around some of these shapes, and that might help me. And then a vise to be an anvil, but also maybe to do some angular bends, hold things in place. And I'm sure that would just come in handy generally. I have these templates which maybe most of the panels needed to complete the kind of sill area wheel arch repair. So we're going to have a go, see if we can make these into the right kind of shapes, put the right bends in them. This piece here is, I think, where I'm going to start. I expect this to be the most difficult. I may be wrong, because it has kind of dimple-dyed type parts here and here, which look like this on the car. So I'm going to have a go at forming those, see what sort of a shape we can make, see if we can come anywhere near what it is on the car. Unfortunately, from the original small piece of sheet metal that I bought, this is all I have left, which isn't quite big enough. So I actually went on eBay, and turns out they sell kits. So they do like a flat pack kit of MX5 repair panels. So that's what I've bought here. You can see it's everything you need to build, you know, whatever part of the MX5 you need. Just obviously you need to do a little bit of assembly, just because they have to flatten it to fit it in the post. So I'll just pop the panels out of this, I think. Now, I did only get this MX5 repair panel off eBay, but it looks to me like it might be genuine Mazda. If you see, if you can just focus. There we go. So I think it might be genuine Mazda, because if you see, look, it already wants some milk down here. Oh, perfect. Yep, so here's there's that section. So I think you just kind of pop it out. They've cut it for you, so yep. So there we go, and then obviously you just got to pop out those 2 panels. Change of plans on that transition. It's not coming out cleanly. I can't cut that curve, so can't do a nice transition, unfortunately. You have to see reality. So there we go. Now begins the arduous task of trying to put in these bends on the car into this panel here, using the tools and probably more importantly the skills I have available. But I'm thinking that this looks kind of like the curve that I want. So I'm just going to come through, tap, and try and put a bend, some sort of contour along that line, and put a ridge up in this so it's no longer flat. How's this going to work? How do we do this then? Which way do I want it to go? Outwards. I'm going the wrong way. Hold on, what do I want to achieve here? I want this bit to come out. What's wrong with me? Why can't I compute this? I want you to come out. How does this work? Am I broken? I want that bit to come out. Why can't I do that? Oh my goodness me. I want this edge to come up. So, what the heck? What am I trying to do? This is alright. looking okay here. This is what we have ended up with. Those parts have come out okay. There does need to be a couple of folds here. Gonna see if I can add a slight bend to that area there. So my future in coach building, probably not gonna happen, but this is good enough for now, I think. So the next one I'm going to move on to is trying to make the outer sill replacement panel. For the most part, I think this is fairly simple. So there's one smooth radius here and then an angle bend for the pinch weld. So that's fairly simple. But then at the other end, it goes into this, it flares out a little bit to meet the wheel arch. So we'll see what we can do about that. What a beaut. Actually flat for the way I'm going about it. That's not bad. Do with a little bit more adjustment here and there, but that's pretty close. This is how far I've got with this outer sill panel. The general curve of it, which is pretty smooth, is quite nice. And now I have to do battle with this fold here. Okay, so I'm thinking, now I've kind of achieved this first bend, I'm hoping that matches, well, not so much in look, maybe more in spirit, matches how that looks. And then I will now try and flatten this top part out and I'll classic car, I mean. We are looking pretty good with what we have here. It's just in this bend I need to manipulate the metal in a way that I can't, so I'm just going to cut down this part, bend the two bits separately, and then I'll just weld them together after. And I think that'll get me just about where I need to go. So you can see I've just done a small relief cut, and then hopefully I can push this slightly further down and this part will sit on top of it. So after a lot of back and forth to the car, adjusting and tweaking, this is what we're left with. This is the panel. You can see I've matched pretty closely here. Once we weld that up, grind a little bit of material out, we should be okay. Not gonna lie to you, these are absolute beauts for me. Anyway. We'll take that, all ground down, and from the front, okay, look, it looks bad, but it looks good. The shape looks good, the finish looks bad, but obviously it's all going to get painted, so no problems there. A little before and after. Here's the before and after for the inside. I think we've made a decent improvement there. So next piece to make is this sort of lower inner wheel arch part. So I just need to cut that out of steel. So just like that, there we go. So that's the shape. Now we need to, well, figure out exactly how we do this. Is going to need a slight, big fold here, and then a slight raid kind of contour on it here just to match the inside of the wheel arch. More of the same. And we have this plate, which whoop, whoop. There we go. Fits pretty nicely in there. we're going to need to make a kind of lip around it. So it needs to come down here and then round into there. So it's going to be another, basically just a rectangular strip of metal. It's going to come round here, and then I'll weld it round there to give me that, and that will replace, that will kind of replace that. I'm not sure how much of that I will actually cut out, but we'll see. Some fabrication complete. It's time to weld. Here is what we are working with. So you see the weld there, small amount of grinding in there, cleaned it up a bit on the back, and then I've just been bending and tapping to get things to work. I'm pretty pleased with adding this lip to it all here. The weld seems fairly strong, fits pretty nicely on the car, which I'll show you now. That's how it sits in there, nice. And then, yeah, you got to imagine that this is held in place a little bit better, but you can see outer sill there, and then where I've kind of rolled that lip round. I promise that the gap is not as big as it looks there. This is pretty decent, so that's another panel made. Three in one episode. What a treat. You are welcome. So I thought I'd just do a little mock-up of how this all goes together in the car in case it doesn't make sense, if that's of particular concern to anyone. Mainly because I'm really happy with how it all goes together. That's the reason for this. So we have this inner part here, where we did all the kind of dimple die type cutouts. So I'm going to trim off the rusted out part in there, weld this in, and then this front panel that goes in the wheel arch, or I guess back in the car, we'll weld onto that there and be a nice cap off replacement of the holes in the wheel arch that are currently there. And then that will all be tied together by the outer sill, which will all weld along the pinch weld to the inner sill we've already put in, and we end up with hopefully a mostly repaired rear corner of the car. There's one more panel which will sit about here to fix this part on the car, so I just need to make that, but I think that's fairly simple. There's not much to it. It's just a straight down plate with a bit of bend and then one little angle bend on it. But I think that's where I'm going to leave it for this week. That's quite a lot of progress. Pretty happy with how everything has gone, so tune in next week. Hopefully all of this stuff is getting welded in. Maybe we can even tackle the subframe box section with the hole in, and then that would be one corner of the critical stuff really fixed. There's still a few bits and pieces where I'm thinking there is some rust that I could repair. It's maybe not critical to do it, so we'll see. But this will be a nice part to get in and get finished. So thanks for watching as per usual. Hope you enjoyed. Tune in next time.